Currently, the United States and pretty much the rest of the world is all in quarantine, aside from a select few. Essential workers have been called upon to keep businesses open to ensure our survival while in quarantine. And to those essential workers who are still out working to make sure we have heat, water, food, and etc., we want to say thanks. And not just me, but billions and billions of people appreciate what you're doing for them. So from the Uber Eats people to the doctors, we say,
I just want to say thanks to all the workers still working during this coronavirus outbreak. Thanks for supporting our community. You are greatly appreciated.
Thanks so much to everyone who is serving and working for us right now. You keep us a little bit more safe.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Rock TV. I'm here to take you through a couple of things that I like to do on this time away to keep myself busy, and some hobbies that I'm into and maybe that you could get into as well. Alright, so this is called a Didgeridoo. For those of you who don't know what this is, it's a long piece of bamboo that's been hollowed out.
Bamboo's hollow.
Well, okay. It's got a mouthpiece on this side that is a little smaller on the hole than the bottom. And all I'm doing is flapping my lips together, and it sounds like this. And I learned how to circle breathe, and I'll show you what that looks like. Another instrument that I love to play to music that's going on or just by itself is called the djembe. I like to call it the djembe. This is a hand drum, and I like to just go out and play it. It's got a low tone there and nice high. I don't know.
Another thing that me and my wife love to do is puzzles, and we've been really getting into these kind of cartoony puzzles that have a lot of different stories going on, and it's just fun to slowly see each story as you slowly put it together. And this puzzle has taken us about a month. Both me and my wife are artists, and we also have a huge chalkboard that we've been working on, so keep on continuing on that. For this next segment, we're going to have students teach a skill, a hobby, or what they're into while they're away.
Have the ball in your hands, make sure your hands are at the back of the ball with your thumbs together like this. Next, you want to place the ball behind your head with your non-dominant foot forward. Make sure your arms are straight behind your head. Step forward, follow through, dragging your back foot. Make sure to keep both feet on the ground and release the ball.
Hello everyone, this is Logan and welcome to my very incomplete railway. Today I'm going to be showing you how to get started with this hobby. Seeing as we're on quarantine, it seems like one of the perfect things to do, while we have nothing else to do, so let's get into it. So first you're going to have to figure out what scale that you want your train layout to be in. So there are quite a lot of different scales that you can do, and these are sort of the main scales that you can have. The best scale, I'd say, if you're not trying to go too small, is HO scale. That's pretty much like the standard gauge for what people go in. A lot of people will either go for N, which is really small, which I would not recommend starting out if you're a beginner, HO, and O gauge. Just a personal recommendation, I'd say you should go with HO scale because this is the scale that I started out with, and the engines are not that big at all, and they're not as expensive as even a smaller scale like N scale or Z scale, but they're not as expensive as a giant model either. So HO scale, I'd say, fits your budget perfectly, and it's probably going to fit your room perfectly. So after you figured out what scale, you're going to want to have to figure out your brand. I'd recommend going with a company called Bachmann because their HO sets are usually not this expensive, and they usually have quite a wide variety and range, and you usually get a lot with what you're paying for. There's also other companies like Pico and Hornby, but if you live in the US and you're trying to find the company with the most options, I would stick with Bachmann on this one. Another reason why I think you should stick with Bachmann is because their track has a roadbed right here, and this keeps the track elevated and off the carpet, and the carpet is usually what will destroy your model train. So having basically a carpet protection, with the purchase of your track is just another plus, and I feel like it just goes a bit further in the long run to protecting your train. So that's why I'd stick with Bachmann on this one. So now you're going to have to figure out if you're going to buy everything separately or if you're just going to buy a train set. I'd recommend buying a train set because it comes with everything you need in terms of a power pack, a controller, the track, the power track, and the actual train and some coaches itself. Sometimes it can be a few dollars more expensive than if you hop on eBay and buy everything separately, but with a train set, you know what you're getting, and you know it's from the same manufacturer, and you know it's going to be working because it's going to be brand new. Okay, so now you have your train set, and all you can think is, what do I do? First, what you're going to want to do is you're going to set up your controller and your power supply. Now, this controller didn't come with an actual train set. I bought this separately, but with most Bachmann power tracks and supplies, you will get this little red insert that will go into the track. So usually a Bachmann controller will have just a little plug-in instead of the screw, but all you need to do is just unscrew this enough to insert the tab in, and then just make sure that you hook up the right insert to the track, otherwise your train will not work. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to assemble the track. So there's something you really want to avoid here when snapping this track in together. These little things right here, these are called fish plates or rail joiners. And so what you want to do, and I'm going to try and manipulate this to my ability, but you do not want the rail joiner to go over the track like this. So you can see that there's a little bump right here, and even though it doesn't look like much, that can derail your trains, and you just got to make sure that you run your fingers along the track once you have it laid down on the floor, and if you feel something stopping, you got to go back and insert it like that. Another hard thing that'll be at first is actually putting on your cars or coaches. Now after a while it gets pretty easy to do, but like you can see here, this wheel has come off. So once a car is derailed, if you can hear the wheels sort of bumping against the rail ties here, the best way to put your cars or coaches on is on a straight piece of track. So now you want to take your track DC and you want to plug it right into this track. Now, if you put the train on and you have the controller going forwards, but the train goes backwards, this will alter the direction your train goes. So if you need to switch it, you just pull it out and then flip it around, and your problem is solved. So after you set your track up, checked it, put your train and cars on the track and checked them, and you have your controller set up, you're ready to start running trains. Now obviously I skipped over some things like track maintenance, train maintenance, car maintenance, etc. There's a bunch of different YouTubers and YouTube videos that'll show you how to clean your track, how to clean your trains. This is called servicing, so if you want to look more into that, there's plenty of YouTube videos on how to do exactly just that. And that's it. That's pretty much how I get started with the greatest hobby in the world. No questions.
Thank you for watching. Have a great week.